Hi, everybody. How's it all going today? Hello from sunny Dubai.
How you doing, man?
Good, thanks. Just waiting for some people to get on board. I'm just admitting a couple more. Yeah, we're supposed to do it on Discord, but one of the servers was down, so
we have to relocate to Zoom.
Yeah, mine is going to as well. Okay, it's recording. Hey, Sohaib, how's it going? You just came back from a talk or what?
Yeah, living in the tropics for so long and being back in Dubai, where you have to have, AC on at all times at like 21 degrees. It's a little bit difficult to adapt, but I'm managing.
So you're adapting right now.
Honestly.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. Give it a bit more, a couple months. A couple weeks. The weather's gonna reach up to 50 degrees here. Oh my God, not looking forward to that. The winter was so great here.
At this rate, I'm looking forward to 50 degrees, man.
Okay, Vitali's joining as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I guess it's also because it's the weekend, so some people are just still off. But yeah, guys, decided to do this AMA just to get an update because we hadn't had one since last January from the day when we actually lost our foster token. So we just wanted to update you to tell you what we were doing from our side. Me and Sohaib been working in parallel together for the last 3 months. So we finally actually have some updates, and it's finally looking promising now. Obviously, due to the sanctions and the world political problems, there was a bit of a speed bump for us.
A couple of hiccups came along, yeah.
Now we can actually, start going full steam ahead, which doesn't really stop us now because we're actually doing such an exciting, great project, saving the humanity, and also, trying to make some money for our investors. So it's a win-win situation from the investor side and us. So, hello, hi, Vitali.
Good afternoon. Good evening.
Good afternoon.
Hi, how are you? Long time no speak.
I'm ready.
You okay? How are things, man? So good to see you. You're looking fresh.
Yeah, thank you. Well, because in Dubai. Good. Yes, good smell. Good air, fresh air.
Getting some
vitamin. I hope fresh, but no, fresh air better because a lot of trees we plant.
That's good, man. Really happy to hear from you. Looking very well. This is the last time I've seen you. That's great. So hey, what do you want? Should we wait for some more people? Or should we just start? Because end of the day, it's a recording.
Yeah, I think yeah, we've been. It's been 5 minutes. I think we can begin now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's just go one step at a time. What's been happening in the past and where we're projecting ourselves, what's going to happen in the future as well. So let's start with the foster token. So as you all know, we launched our foster token last January. We still haven't closed round because we want everyone to, get around the project, understand it, read more about it. So we were actually supposed to close the round 3 weeks ago, but people were seem to keep on buying them. So obviously our second token, which is going to be the tree token, is going to be launched on Monday at 6 p.m. Dubai time. So I think we're just going to leave the tree token open for the next 1 week or so. And then obviously we're going to close that round and carry on with the tree token because that's the main token that we're actually looking for people to buy. So that's where we're at right now on that matter. A lot of people bought a lot of them. We're actually surprised. So we have they actually bought majority, like around 80%. So hey, is that right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. A lot. So, I mean, the traction. I mean, when we had our AMA in January, we were still very much in the conceptual phase. So over the last 3 months, we've been spending time, working with our developers, making sure that the smart contracts are exactly what we're looking for. I'm not the technical guy. I have a very brief understanding, but I understand the value of focusing on the security. So it's been a slow but steady process for very good reason. So we have been, well, I've been in contact with the development team, so I can give you a brief on the tokenomics for the tree tokens and the foster tokens. Initially, when we first had our conversation in January with the whole group, we were basically looking at utilizing foster tokens as a means of purchase. So people would be purchasing foster tokens and then using those tokens to purchase tree tokens. That would have become a little complex, so we decided to go ahead and keep them separate. And we will be launching. I mean, it's a little bit difficult for me to explain the entire incentive structure of owning the foster tokens. So we are actually going to be launching V2 of our white paper in the next, I hope 1 week at the most. We're just going through the, re-evaluating everything and finalizing the design. So we'll be sharing that with the community very soon. It's very exciting. We're looking at, implementing somewhat of for a lack of better description, like a community tax, where if you hold, as you're aware, when you hold foster tokens, if you hold foster tokens, you are entitled to receiving a share from the sale of tree tokens and the sale of CO2 credits. Okay,
Correct.
So yeah, there's your value added benefit of holding your foster tokens there. It'll be very well explained in the white paper. I wish I could. I wish I could do it justice, but I can't. Do we have anybody from development here? No, not at the moment. And same with the tree tokens. So you can expect that. Who's making so much?
Someone, I think it's the Vasily. Might have to mute him. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. Just everyone's in a different place right now, and yeah, sorry. As you were saying, Sohaib.
Yeah. So the breakdown for, the updated white paper you can expect in the next week. We will be sharing. We did share a breakdown for the income projections for the tree tokens on the website. We got a couple of questions, but they're not. They don't really. Oh, no. Here's Dr. Gems. There he is.
Hello. Hi.
Yeah, we will be releasing that in the next week. We've shared the details for the foster token, the tree token income projections. Really good feedback on that. People are obviously excited for the potential of where CO2 credits are going. Sorry.
The volunteer carbon market, especially, that's the exciting market segment of the whole thing.
Exactly. Yeah. There's so much information to share. Jenny, if you could just go through the agenda, then we can take it step by step. So first we had what from your side?
Okay. We were supposed to discuss the foster token, which we already explained. So what are they doing? Obviously, the big question is, when is the tree token going to be launched? Because our community has been asking us for ages about that. And obviously, our development team that works in Switzerland and also in Dubai have been taking a lot of time creating this, because we obviously moved from Ethereum. We now bridged our whole system into Binance Smart Chain, because it's not feasible for a retail investor to buy Ethereum tokens because of the gas fees. So somebody was paying $100 and wants to plant. Well, he was supposed to buy 3 trees at $30, and he would be paying $60 in gas fees.
Mm-hmm.
Which, to us, it was not feasible, because end of the day, we're a really green company. So we decided to move away from that. So our option was either to run it through a Phantom network, or to do it through Binance Smart Chain. And obviously, when we had a meeting with our whole group, everyone agreed to do it on Binance Smart Chain because it's fastest. You buy it at BNB, you can swap it, you can do it into USDT, go straight to your MetaMask wallet. And that's what we actually currently have for the time being. Obviously, in the future, yes, we are a traditionally run company, but we're doing it through crypto on our blockchain for the right reasons. So we get full transparency where the funds are going. That was the main reason why we did it. And soon in the next couple of weeks, we're also thinking of plugging in Visa and MasterCard so people can purchase these tokens using their bank card, because some people are not very crypto friendly. They don't know how to open up a MetaMask account, how to send cash, how to receive crypto. So we're doing both. So we're going to do it through MetaMask, and we're going to do it through Visa and MasterCard as well. That is also.
Yeah, that is crucial. I mean, as we're really, I mean, the idea is to bridge both worlds. I mean, like the regular people who have no idea how everything works, obviously we need to make it easy for them, because it's very important to get as many people involved as possible. I mean, like, you know, the main reason we started this project is why? Because a lot of people understand the current circumstances with global warming and constant climate change, the various impacts that are going to be happening. There are, you know, the reports that have been coming from various government organizations, you know, the IPCC reports, they're quite grim, but they do shed light. Now, because you know, going net zero is so focused between like business to business and, you know, within governments, it's limited in accessibility. So yeah, I mean, creating this simple method of being able to put in money.
Hey, let's discuss well, because not a lot of people, I mean, we came across so many times, people not aware what is net zero in our day of time. Some people just heard, oh, net zero 2050, but what does it really mean for our communities to understand?
So yeah, so net zero, I mean, let's take Shell as an example. They are a massive, you know, carbon emitting, they're from a massive carbon emitting industry. So in order to balance out this massive footprint, they have to offset their carbon. So when it comes to when you say net zero, let's say they're putting out 100 tons a year. To go net zero, they need to be sponsoring or somehow contributing to sequestering 100 tons out of the atmosphere. And this is happening, you know, I mean, it's already implemented with your, you know, your bigger conglomerates, etc. But eventually a lot of private institutions, regular people, potentially even people living in cities like Dubai, where, you know, we consume a lot of electricity, we have a huge carbon footprint. This might start being implemented in this scenario where, you know, like in London right now, you have congestion tax. You know, if you're living in the city, eventually, if you have a huge carbon footprint, they're going to be like, hey guys, it's time to, you know, start offsetting. So so net zero basically means if you're emitting 12 tons, on average, they say in cities, people emit 12 to 15 tons. You need to be absorbing 12 to 15 tons a year. That's how you go net zero, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you know,
well, obviously, it's like we said, everyone's talking about 2050 net zero, which already shows that all the government and private corporations are going to be buying more and more CO2 credits, especially in the volunteer market. What we're doing, it's I mean, if you look at the curve that we have posted on the Tree Token presentation, we're halfway. I mean, it's really hard to get on carbon credits because they've been bought out in batches by a lot of big corporations. The demand is much greater than the supply.
Currently the demand, I mean, for 2021 was around 80 million tons, and we're projected the demand by 2050 is going to be around 1 trillion tons.
1 trillion, And so, obviously, I mean, the voluntary carbon market will grow in price. Today it's what, $15, $20 per metric ton. According to McKinsey, according to big institutions, they're saying it go to 100-fold by 2050, maybe even sooner. So it's very hard for us even to predict where it's going to go, but we definitely know it's going to go up.
100%. I mean, the Carbon 1 report that was also shared to our community had stated that the minimum expected growth for the price is 700% up to 7,000%. So that's around $1,400 per ton, which which is very plausible. Why? Because currently the cap and trade market is valued at 100 billion, I believe.
Yeah.
The voluntary market is 750 million to 1 billion approximately. So the direction that we're heading, I mean, the compliance market is solely regulated by a government, and it's for your bigger corporations, etc. Once private entities start coming in and saying, okay, we also need to get net zero, we're also getting pressure from the government, that is what's going to really push up the voluntary market. I mean, over the last 3 months, what was a concept is now such a reality, because there is such a serious issue that needs to be addressed, yeah. So
yeah,
I mean,
no, it is. I mean, I believe it's everybody's responsibility that lives on this world that pollutes needs to plant at least a tree. I mean, end of the day, before we even started this project, it didn't really hit my head. Oh, when the Paris Agreement hit, the Kyoto Protocol, I mean, it wasn't still really there, because some people say it was nonsense. Climate change doesn't really exist. But if we're looking, the global temperatures are rising, and we cannot exceed over 2%. I mean, 2 degrees Celsius. And we're on the verge of 1.5 and 2. And if we ever exceed that, it's already too late. So hence why we decided to create this blockchain for people to be more aware of what's really going on. And how would you convince an everyday investor to put into money into something that is good and also make something out of it? And that's when the carbon credits came. They were always there for a very long time, but no one really thought on the scale that we're doing this right now, especially in Colombia. So we already, we're very close. Actually, what we're doing in Colombia right now, we're purchasing land that was already in process. All the paperwork are going through. The only downside that we had is always because of sanctions, like we mentioned earlier. Things were moving very, very slow. We got our lawyer groups. Our lawyers are working in Colombia, Switzerland, and Dubai, helping us to purchase the land. So obviously there's a huge requirement of when the money is coming from Middle East, when it goes to Colombia, they want to do an audit. They need to do an inspection check, because as you understand what happens in Colombia, there's a lot of money laundering going on, especially from, things such as from cocaine plantations and things like that. So we have to show them that we're a legitimate company. We actually raised the funds from using Foster blockchain. And now we have to transfer these funds into a bank account and to show them that we're legitimate. Proof of funds, KYC, everything that we're currently doing right now. So obviously that's time, but we are very, very close. So I believe 1 month, 2 months, we will have the title deed for the 1,300 hectares, which is equivalent of 13 kilometers, but we can only plant 52% of it for biodiversity and biomass. So this is why our carbon credits will be high fidelity credits, because we're creating jobs, we're planting the trees, we have biomass, there's other creatures, and this is going to be a proper forest. And the forest right now, Colombia has changed the license to conservative forest, and that's getting more value to our carbon credits. So from the technical side, we're doing very well when it comes to actually, planting the trees now. So
following a very strict methodology.
Exactly, and a very strict methodology. And obviously, I mean, we have been doing this research for how long now? We looked at so many different corporations, GCC, Vera Group, Gold Standard, and we just realized we understand more. Nothing is better than Vera and Gold Standard for the time being, because they create the best methodologies. They've
been around for a while. They've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, they have the QR code. You can check them, and that this is, as they say, if you got to do it right. And this is
exactly. And good things take time. Good things do take time. We want to do things properly. I mean, that's why we didn't rush anything with actually trying to organize something quickly with Colombia. We're taking our time, doing it correctly, following all the legal advice we're receiving from, our lawyers there, etc. So, I mean, yes, it's taken a little bit longer, but for good reason.
For the right reasons.
Exactly.
Tell our community, it's not just Colombia that we're focusing on, because we have actually talked about this in our previous CMA, that we would like to create a dashboard with a world map on it. And so, because planting trees and saving the planet is a very sensitive, emotional subject to most people. And they want to plant trees in their home area or around somewhere they can go and see them, because Colombia is far for a lot of people. We actually had some really good meetings with the governments as well in Argentina. We had meetings with Bolivia, Thailand, Brazil, India, Sri Lanka, and
There's a lot of promising projects, promising partners over there.
on
I
that
mean,
majority of them, they definitely want to plant trees. They have a different methodology compared to Colombia because it's not gold standard. But hence why we're actually auditing them as well as they're auditing us to understand what's going to be the partnership over a period of time. So we're not just going out there and just, oh yeah, we're going to plant trees and give us land. No, we actually
exactly. There's very strict criteria that we've been following. Yeah.
So, I mean, the best one on the top notch right now out of all the companies we looked at. So, hey, what would you say? I think Colombia is probably the best one.
Colombia has, yeah, they've been doing it for a while. So they are, similar to gold standard in that sense within the forestry. And the greatest thing for me personally, like we've met a bunch of, like as you mentioned, potential partners, and they all love the way that it has been implemented there, and they would love to bring that in. And they've seen the value in doing things correctly. They've seen the value in the quality of carbon that they're absorbing. I mean, what we found is you can plant a tree for $1 or something, but these are also for carbon sequestering projects, but there's no clarity on what quality it is. And I mean, some credits we saw were worth like $2.
Is going on. That's why we didn't really get the straight answer. That's why we thought, compared to something that is gold standard, you plant this amount of trees, this is how much carbon credit you're sequestering over a period of years. This is how much you'll get return on investment. We have the best company for lines to do the inspection and audit checks. Everything was just laid out so properly, like it's a properly run business. And this is probably the best forest management company we actually came across. And obviously they're very knowledgeable. They know what's going on, and all their employees that's been working on site for over 10 years, this is what they do. That's their bread and butter. They were born to do it. They plug their families in, they plug in the communities. They actually help indigenous tribes, and they actually educate them on how to replant instead of burning savannas, because it's the old way of actually
trying to yeah.
So obviously we can actually use all that information, and maybe we're going to actually create a video after we fly to Colombia to actually plant the trees with our investors, and we're actually going to show them how it's done properly. And this could be really good for our marketing if we use that as well, because it's not about just planting the trees, it's actually creating better communities. Yeah, and I think it's really great. So yeah, going back to the tree token now. So we shared that on the group, and some investors came back and said, well, guys, you're not making enough profit. You're not getting too much return on investment on your second, fifth, and 10th year. And obviously, we have been using very conservative numbers, guys.
Of
We
course.
have given you from 20, X30, X40, like some of the scam projects there. We were actually looking at the minimum bar of what realistic returns that you will be getting. Because don't forget, trees don't grow overnight. They take time to mature.
Exactly.
As a nursery point where you plant them, they take care of them, and they're going to go through thinning. It takes time. But imagine, think of yourself when you're buying a tree. Eucalyptus grows an average of 250 to 300 years. It's a good passive income for you, or maybe your retirement, or for your future kids that are coming out, because each tree is like a factory, and it produces you those carbon credits every year in and year out. And the more you wait to sequester them, the higher your payout will be. And we have been trying to explain this to the majority of our people, and they're saying, well, what was
Not enough.
Yeah, I mean, people were just not very happy about the returns on investment, guys. But if the carbon credits goes up in value by $30, 40, 50 to 100, that's when it becomes interesting. You start after 10-year period, you can make 580% in 10 years if you hold that. And that's if it goes all the way up. So please, guys, to understand, you're doing here a good thing. Don't think of yourself as a charity, but you're doing the world a favor, and you're actually getting money out of that. That's like an added bonus, rather than, like playing with futures or playing with something like that. Look, our whole group, it's a Simba, it's Stress, now it's Foster. We have a fund that you can put that in as well. Foster is more of a humanitarian. It's a project that really helps the world, and that's the way you should be looking at this. There are other needs to make a quick buck, but not on this. But please pray, have a look. So Sohaib's actually been adding a lot of interesting news articles on our Foster website, where the carbon market is going to go. We keep getting emails, we're getting presentations that it's going to go higher than anticipated.
And we've had conversations with various experts within the field. I mean, people that have been in this in the carbon credit exchange for the last 10 years and have been sequestering through various methods. I mean, not just tree planting. There's various methods, which is something else we must also discuss. Don't remind me.
Oh yeah.
Based on all the information, I mean, even we tried to get in touch with Gold Standard and Vera. They are the biggest providers of like the highest fidelity voluntary carbon units, and we were looking to maybe purchase some so we can start building something for the initial tree planters instead of waiting 2 years for the first return on investment. And everybody seems to be sold out. It's very, very, very. It's accelerating at an unbelievable level. I mean, from the information we're receiving from everybody. So genuinely, as you had said, the figures shared are very conservative because we don't want to oversell the dream. However, we have extreme confidence that it will. I personally, based on all of the conversations that we have had together, I assume that by 2022, by 2024, we are looking at around $50 per ton for the high fidelity credits from Vera or Gold Standard. So,
yeah. I mean, it's really net zero is happening. Everyone's more of the climate change. I mean, most government private companies have no other way. Like you cannot take an investment in the future if you don't pay the fees for polluting the climate. And the Paris Agreement was set to do that. Around 200 countries signed a petition. So it will be a bigger demand in a period of time. And we can see that the carbon credits already have increased by 25% in the last 6 months. I'm actually surprised, why didn't we do this earlier? But again, it's rather late than never, as they say. But yeah, that's on that. So these guys, try to look at conservative numbers. We actually broke down the equations for everyone to look at one of our previous presentations. Anyone has any more questions or anyone wants to ask us, ask me, Sohaib on the group. We'll be always there. We can always call you guys. We need a Zoom call, or just call us on the direct phone line. We're always there to help or for you to understand how things work. Because carbon credits is new to us when we first started, but now every day that we're learning about it, we're educating ourselves, we actually understand the bigger picture now than what we did when we first started. But anyways, let's moving on ahead. As you can see, Sohaib posted news as well on the group on ADGM opening up a carbon exchange market, the first one in Middle East, which is based in Abu Dhabi. And we were supposed to, well, in fact, we're actually looking to open up our main office in the MCC Crypto Center because our 3 sister companies are based there as well. So we thought it will make sense to have the same office or open up a separate office away from them. But after reviewing the news, in Abu Dhabi, we want to be closer to the carbon exchange market, which is based in Abu Dhabi. We actually have a local partner based out of Dubai that knows people in the government, and he's going to help us out to open up and get our license exchanging carbon credits. Because over a period of time, like we also discussed previously, that we're going to have our tree token, we're going to have our fossil token, and the third one's called O2 Plus, where people store their carbon credits, they can exchange them, they can buy them, they can trade them, they can sell them, they can do whatever they want with that. And obviously we're going to have a futures page as well. So we actually got in contact with Red Plus. It's very similar to what Gold Standard does, but out of Brazil. We're going to actually purchase some of the carbon credits as well, and just to see how the flow of the carbon credits and exchange actually works. So guys, please bear with us. That's also in the making. And it's going to be something big. We're sure
100%,
of that.
100%.
Yeah.
It's so new, and we really want to do this particular, what you just mentioned. We have to do it right, because there have been so many organizations that have tried doing this, trying to create carbon exchanges via blockchain, and they just, there's been a lot of bad publicity because there was, issues with the age of the credits, which is very important. They're purchasing, 10-year-old credits that are worth $2 because 10 years ago, the methodologies that you had to follow to sequester carbon was obviously not as advanced as now, and it's going to continue evolving. So this is something really challenging, which we are working towards, really nailing, because it's so important. I mean, you can't be doing that, obviously,
Of course not. No.
so another huge added benefit is that, I mean, number one, the UAE has really adopted crypto, and they want to make it a hub, and they've started regulating it, which is fantastic. We have to be compliant with various things such as the KYC situation, and also because they've adopted crypto like this, that's why they've gone and decided to open up their own carbon exchange, etc., which is fantastic for us, and it further shows that this is just one that is adopted now, and it's only going to keep growing.
Growing, yeah. I really like what you just mentioned, Sway, because we're actually so lucky that we actually live in Dubai now, and Dubai is becoming a more regulated market on a daily basis, which actually gives us more credibility to show our investors that once we actually receive the license, we're audited by governments. They look into our spreadsheets on how we actually do business. And Dubai is not the place where you open up scam projects and get away with it. Everything, all eyes. And we want to be transparent with our investors. That's why we did it on blockchain to begin with. And opening up an office in Abu Dhabi, which is the capital of UAE, is where we want to be, right next to these exchanges, because more carbon credits are going to start flowing. We're going to find more partners to deal with in a matter of time. That's going to help us to purchase more lands, more trees that we have to. So, and the whole idea is the more trees we buy, the more carbon credits we get, the more and more our fund is created, and the more we can actually sell them. It's interesting. It's really, really good. So yes, we're looking at both offices in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. So by end of this month, we're going to have our decision, and we're actually going to open one up fairly soon, guys. Please stay with us. All the updates will be done through our Telegram channel as well. Like I said, if you have any more questions about that, feel free to ask us on the group. Also, as we discussed many times as well, we're going to have our own events. We're going to attend climate change events. We're not just a crypto company. Obviously, we're going to go to crypto events. We're going to go to any events that fights for environment. This is where we're going to be at. And for us to do that, we need to hire most knowledgeable people like biologists, science environmentalists, specialists, and people like that. So we're going to hire potential, professionals in respect to their industry. We're really going to do that. So we actually have a couple of people in mind. We might actually bring some people from US or Canada. We're still deciding. We actually sent some offers out. So obviously, once they respond, we will announce that we have a new team members for Foster. So
it's been a challenge finding people that have enough experience that can really contribute what we're looking for. But as with everything, good things take time. But we're almost there, in that sense.
Yeah, and also the biggest one is like we mentioned before. So we're moved from Ethereum to Binance Smart Chain, and we're actually in talks with Binance as well on actually getting our token listed on Binance Exchange itself. So obviously, for us to do that, we need to have very high liquidity. And once we do that, with the help of our community, our partners, and our friends, we'll be able to do that. And then people can actually start buying, selling tokens on Binance Smart Chain, as well as our exchange as well. Our development team was already looking into that, on how to do that the best, fastest possible way. But things are not getting done on overnight. It takes time. So that's also on our agenda as well. Yes, I mean, that's pretty much the most important things that we have covered. Our referral program is currently being built as well. We're going to have 3 different levels. We're going to start sending them out to our advisors, our consultants, and the people that want to work with us. It's going to be 10, 6, 4, 3 different levels. That's going to be ready by tomorrow at 6 p.m. as well. We're going to create a presentation for you guys to see as well how things work. So you have a better explanation, and full steam ahead for that. And sorry, guys, we've been mumbling on for some time. Does anyone have any questions that would like to ask us? Guess anyone?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we kind of covered everything from our end.
I have one question. I didn't know that I have to mute myself. Just in general, with how many dollars everybody can start?
How many dollars? So the minimum requirement. The minimum requirement to purchase Foster tokens is $100.
Oh wow!
now the issue that we've had and a couple of complaints we've received is, due to time constraint, we launched it on the Ethereum network, which means, sometimes if people are investing
Yes.
$100, their gas fees are 60, so it's counterproductive. So currently we're working to migrate onto the BSC, but our tree tokens have all been developed on the Binance network. So we can expect, transfer processing fees of negligible processing fees.
Thank you so much. And
And
also, I also saw like I had like a little bit connection issues here, unfortunately. But you said like your one thing is Binance and the other thing is Phantom. Why Phantom? Is it also very low cost with the transactions?
yes,
Very
that's
low
also
network as well, Salem. But we were actually, I think Binance Smart Chain was much more easier to bridge than Phantom. And from the advice that we received from our development team, because our biggest problem was the time constraints, because obviously after the Foster token launch in January, all our people in our group were asking what's going on, why things are not moving ahead. So time was playing a massive factor, and Binance Smart Chain was just the easiest possible decision was made at the time. And we're almost there. Everything's going to be done by tomorrow, 6 p.m. And obviously the guys have been testing it non-stop for the last 3-4 days, about 10, 15 people, to make sure that there's no glitches, no hiccups that are happening in the future. So when an investor puts money in, it's going to be a nice, smooth transition. And that's why I've been working very, very hard on it. Obviously, when they were testing it, so many things went wrong. It crashed, but that's the good reason for testing. You make sure that these things don't happen when actually tree token is launched. So hence why we did to Binance Smart Chain.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm really excited in this project. You're very innovative, innovative, yes. And I'm also, my friend here is also watching. And
Hello.
we're really, really excited about this project and that things gonna move on right now. Thank you so
we'd
much.
like to hear.
Salam, thank you so much as well. We are super duper excited to get this thing going. I mean, we'll put a lot of hard work, blood, tears, and sweat into this, and we're so close. We're almost there. Once we receive our title deed for our Colombia forest and the tree token gets launched tomorrow, we can go full steam ahead. And I told this many times to our investors. They're not just investors for Foster, they are partners. They are supposed to tell others as well as themselves to start planting trees on their behalf of their friends. So it's we don't really look at people, you work for me, I work for you, we're the clients, we're this, we're that. We are on the same level here, on the same page. Like I said, it's our responsibility to make this world a better place. And the way that we can do it is if we do it together. And that's the way it will only work.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to hear that we're building a big community.
No, thank you guys. Really, it's really nice. It's like it's good to hear that people that are coming on the project with you to help you to make this better. And obviously, it's not just me and Suhaib, but it's when we do these EMAs, we actually realize how excited people are, because it's not just EMAs. Even when we do our networking, we go out with friends and families. Everyone's like, "This is such a great idea. How come this has never been done before?" Because again, even though when we speak to forest management companies, we're telling them we're like this blockchain company and we want to plant trees with you guys. And they're like, "Oh, what's going on? How do you do that?" And when we tell them everything, what we want to do from A to Z, they start getting excited and asking us, how can we invest with you? And obviously we're coming to the same place, but let's all work together to make this better. So everyone's on board slowly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think, Suhaib, anything else you want to cover, mates?
Yeah, so we did receive a couple of questions, so maybe we can just go over them. So the first question we had received, what exactly is the function of the Foster token? I mean, how does the funds raised from the sale of Foster tokens, how does it get allocated? So basically, the answer to that is they are all. We have currently raised around 600,000, I believe. Yeah. So all of that is basically going to be utilized to execute our roadmap that we shared, procuring land, finding other partners, obviously establishing a great team, getting the office, getting our license, getting KYC done properly, making sure that everything is bulletproof and, so we can go full steam ahead. So that is exactly what all of the funds from the Foster token sales are going to be going towards. Then the same individual asked that about the tree token. So if you look on our website, it says that our tree token, the price of the tree token is divided into three. One is for the actual project, to plant, maintain, take care of the trees, to fund the project, the forestry project. 20% is allocated as a community tax. So 20% would be $6. So each $6 will go into one account every 3 months. That the 20% accumulated will be distributed to foster token holders. Then the balance is for marketing and project development. Now, when we say marketing and project development, the marketing part will be for the referral scheme. So again, for the community, and project development is to further fund, forestry projects, specifically forestry projects, not for licensing or anything over and above. It's all specifically for forestry. There was 2 others. How does the tokenization of CO2 certificates happen? Now, this is a good question that we are, as I had mentioned before, trying to really nail, because as I had mentioned, the CO2 credits the certificates that are issued are very, very dependent on the value is very dependent on the methodologies, which is why we have really been focused on finding or trying to partner with, the top certifying bodies in the industry. So we don't have that issue where, the methodology is suddenly changed and therefore devalues what we have. So the tokenization part, we are currently in talks with Vera, because of the organizations I had mentioned earlier that were, selling very old credits that were valued at $2. They're selling it for like 20. There were also issues with double counting. So again, I'm not an expert in this, but I can give a brief explanation. So when you have that 1 ton certificate right now, let's say there's no foster, there's no tokens. You're an organization, a private company, and you need to offset your emissions. Each certificate is representing 1 ton sequestered from the atmosphere. So when you purchase that, that certificate is no longer valid. You've sequestered that, you've offset 1 ton from your emissions. What some of these blockchain-based projects were unfortunately doing was double counting. So they were not only having their certificates, however, the token version of their certificate represents the same thing. However, they were pushing them both, which is why, Gold Standard, for example, initially said, you know what, anything to do with crypto, anything to do with blockchain, we're not interested, because there's a lot of, shady projects that are going around, for lack of better terms.
Once they got.
Yeah. So the tokenization is we're working on it. We are very close to understanding how we've been speaking to Vera, and we are currently going through a due diligence review from their side to basically show them, make them understand what we're trying to do, and to basically kind of separate us from the rest, to show that we are actually acting as a bridge to an industry that already exists. It's been around for a long time, as you mentioned before. However, we're making it accessible for people, for regular people like you and I, and we're incentivizing them through the help of blockchain. This community tax, etc., that you see in various DAOs and other crypto projects. So yeah, I mean that's going to eventually come about. It's a slow process. Everything has been a slow process. This is brand new, as Jenya mentioned earlier, but we are heading in the right direction, and I'm super confident. I mean, in the next 2-3 months, the next AMA will be even better than this one. We'll have a lot more clarity.
Of course, we're gonna have more updates, more things to actually show. I mean, that's it. I mean, that was the hardest part, was actually finding the right FMs, finding the right blockchain, finding the right network. Once you have those 3 things already gone, it will work itself out. That's what I'm trying to say. And we've done our due diligence, like we have said. We know who we want to be working with and why. We took a lot of time identifying for why they were good. We had a lot of meetings, and now we've identified the strongest players, the strongest institutional bodies. Now all we have to do is just launch the tree token, which is done tomorrow, and off we go, guys. Off we go.
Yeah, and there was one other question, sorry to interrupt, just in regards to how an individual would be able to see how much CO2 has been sequestered by the trees that they purchased, and you know where their trees are, etc. So we are expecting our dashboard, I mean the V1 of the dashboard, to be launched, I assume maybe in the next 2-3 weeks, Jenya? You've been in touch with the development team, yeah. So that will we have concepts that we will be sharing on the Telegram groups very shortly, but you will, as Jenya said, be able to see a map with the various projects everywhere. And then on the side, you will have the amount of trees, which breed they are. Right now, we're working with eucalyptus because it grows 2 centimeters a day. It sequesters a fair amount of carbon, and you know, projects like in Thailand, maybe fruit trees, you know, so it will show you exactly what trees, how much carbon they are supposed to be sequestering per year, and how much they've sequestered over time. So all the information will be available on this dashboard that we'll be sharing, like the concepts, very, very soon.
Yeah,
when it works. And
I mean, at the moment, yes, we are a tree planting company, yes, but there are other means necessary to actually retrieve carbon credits, not just through eucalyptus. We have learned
thank you for reminding me.
retrieving the carbon credits, and not just through trees. We looked at even through methane, through other means necessary, and just bear with us. We're going to create another presentation on how we're going to do that. We're already in talks with others. We just need to get more information out of it. And once we do, we will be able to receive more carbon credits than just eucalyptus, and in a much faster way. We're
looking at other tokens because of, you know, various different types of sequestering. So, you know, from landfills, as you mentioned, methane. So we'll have different, I mean, what's happening in the back end is fantastic, and I can't wait to share even more with you. But currently, we're focusing on the tree tokens, etc. So, you know,
one step at a time.
Exactly, exactly.
Great. All right, then. I think we covered everything else. So, hey, what do you think?
From my side, I'm covered. I would love to hear some more questions from everybody that's joined us, if possible. I mean, you know, the more questions we get, the more we learn as well. So if anybody has any other questions, raise your hand, say hello. Anybody?
No, I think we just broke it down everything in detail. So all the questions that people have, we just answered them now. So I guess maybe prepare the next AMA session in the next 2-3 months once, and just give an update of how many trees people bought, where we're going, show them an example of our certificates so they can QR code them. They can actually put the data, the symbols, so they know that they're real. So yeah, we're going to be sharing a lot more information on the group. We're going to get more active. There's also another AMA session will be happening in Russian next week. We will let you know when for the Russian community, and please bear with us in the meantime. Okay. Well, everyone, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate your time, and see you soon.
Wait, before you leave, if anybody watches this that was not able to participate, as I had mentioned, please, after watching this, do send over your questions, because your questions add so much value, honestly, because it teaches us more, and it tells us what we need to look for. As I said, this is brand new for us. I mean, the industry has been there, but the way we're applying blockchain to it in the correct manner is very new. So, you know, the more questions we receive, the better. Please, so please do share from my side. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care, guys. Take care, Jenya.
You too. Thanks, Sahib.
Take care. Bye-bye.